This is the host, and these are the scariest true stories from Reddit. Let's begin. This happened a couple of weeks ago. I was chilling in bed scrolling through my social media when I got a text from an unknown number. I picked up my phone and it said, "Hello, beautiful. You look absolutely stunning today." I of course assumed it was a wrong number and I didn't bother replying. 5 minutes later, I got another message from the same number. And today we're going to be reading from the Let's Not Meet so let's get into it. It said, "Guess who it is?" Again, I didn't reply because I was seriously creeped out. It was her sister who had taken her own life a few years prior. She sent me a few texts saying she was watching me and wanted to know why I had visited her grave in a while. I told her that I didn't know it was her and apologized profusely. She then replied, "It's fine. I knew you wouldn't remember. But just so you know, I'm still your property now." Before ending with, "Can't wait to see you on Friday," I checked my calendar and I decided to ask what he wanted. He said he just wanted to chat, but his messages were borderline creepy. A few months ago, two men were joking around and one of them said to the other, "Don't be creepy." The other guy asked what he meant and he said, "Don't use your phone to sneakily take pictures of women." Which story was the most terrifying? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. They both laughed it off and went back to work. A few days later, I saw the same guy holding his phone near the bottom of his shirt. I instantly got weirded out and told him to stay away from me. He apologized profusely and said he wasn't doing anything, but I still felt uncomfortable. The next day I noticed him staring at me. I ignored it and continued working. The next day, I noticed him taking pictures of me. I screamed and he dropped his phone. I took it and checked it. Sure enough, it was filled with pictures of me. I handed it back to him and told him to leave. The next day, he was fired. The other guy told me that he took those pictures to show his wife because he was proud of how hard I worked. I guess he thought it was funny. I think he was trying to make conversation, but he kept sending messages like, "How has life been treating you?" Sometimes I'll receive multiple texts at midnight saying, "I love you, I'm coming to find you, and let me in." The most recent text I got from this number says, "I'm outside. I don't know what to do. Should I call the cops?" And have you thought of me lately? I was really uncomfortable at this point, so I told him I was busy. He took that as a hint and started sending messages like, "You haven't changed one bit. And I knew you were the one." At this point, I started freaking out because I had no idea what he was talking about. I told him that his messages were creepy, and he said that he was sorry and that he was just trying to make conversation. I blocked him. The message was from someone he knew, but hadn't heard from in years. He showed us the message and it said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? What are you doing today?" And then, "What are you doing tomorrow? We should catch up sometime." He didn't respond. I think he was too shocked too. Her son came back into the room and asked what was up. His friend showed him the messages and he started freaking out. We tried to calm him down and he eventually agreed to respond and tell the person that he was busy and to text him another time. About 15 minutes later, he gets another message saying, "It's okay. I understand. Just wanted to say hi. I hope you have a great day." And then, sorry, I didn't mean to send that. I meant to send that to someone else. Sorry for the confusion. Have a nice day. Clearly, a creep. 3 hours later, "You should respond. I want to know if you're real." He excused himself to go to the restroom and when he came back, he looked shaken. He told me that he received a picture of a dead animal from his sister's number. When I say dead animal, I mean a bloody meat cleaver, what seems to be a sheep or a lamb. He said that he confronted her about it when he got home, and she claimed it was a prank gone wrong. However, she definitely knew what she was doing, and she deleted the picture immediately. This is especially weird considering that his sister doesn't own a smartphone. And the last one, "If you're not real, then why aren't you responding?" My phone was on silent, and I had it under my pillow, because I sometimes read for a bit before bed. When I was younger, my dad would call me every now and then. We wouldn't talk for long, but he would hang up and call back so I wouldn't have his number saved. So fast forward to a year ago when I received a text from an unknown number. I thought it was my dad calling me from a new phone, so I picked up and it went straight to voicemail. I checked the number and it was my dad's number. That was weird since he never texted, and he also passed away 2 years prior to that. I didn't think much of it and assumed it was a wrong number, until I got another text from that same unknown number at midnight saying, "Where are you? Why aren't you answering?" I, of course, freaked out and threw my phone across the room. I didn't want to check it. I decided that if it was important, my mom would call me. Well, I tried to go to sleep, but I kept tossing and turning. So finally, I gave in and looked at my phone. It was my dad's number again, and it said, "Why aren't you in bed yet?" I immediately threw my phone back across the room and curled up in a ball until morning. And I told myself it was just some random creep. But even a year later, I still get those random texts from his number. Around 3 a.m. I started getting text messages. I assumed it was my boyfriend because he often got mistaken for his older brother who shared the same name. One of them says, "I'm here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Are you asleep yet?" Another says, "Why don't you answer your phone? Do you not want to talk to me anymore?" Another one says, "You forgot me. I thought we were best friends." All of these were sent by the same number. I didn't answer any of them. He would always get mad at these types of messages, and I knew he was onto silent type. So I just kept reading while he slept peacefully beside me. After about 10 minutes and close to 20 texts, I finally looked at the screen. It said, "Get out of bed." I quickly replied, assuming it was a joke. The next message said, "I have a knife, and I want to kill you." I was obviously scared at this point. I don't remember what I said back, but I do remember shoving my phone under the pillow. A few minutes later, I heard my boyfriend scream from across the room in his sleep. I could hear him mumbling, "What did you say? What did you say?" over and over again. The texts continued for another 15 minutes, with messages like, "I am gone, nay, stab you in your sleep, and I am gone, nay, kill you. You'll see." I kept replying asking who it was and why they were texting me like this. The last message was, "You better run." I still had no idea who it was, but I couldn't take the chance. I grabbed my phone and ran into my parents' room. They let me stay with them, and I told them about the messages. They didn't believe me because apparently they were really drunk that night and slept through it. The next morning after, of course, not sleeping at all, I called my boyfriend to tell him about the creepy texts. He told me that he never got any messages, and he had no idea who it was. I blocked the number and never heard from them again. But I can't help but wonder if it was some psycho stalker or something. And my boyfriend swears he doesn't know that many people with that name. That was the scariest, creepiest episode of texts from last night yet. What is the most terrifying thing you have ever read in a text message? Let's find out in today's video. Welcome back. I'm here.